It is raining actually right now over here in Cape Town, but Bitcoin is looking extremely bullish to me, and in today's video I will be explaining to you guys my new trading plans for both Bitcoin and also for a very specific altcoin. Bitcoin looks ready to attack the range high, and we are going to try and trade Bitcoin towards the range high. What we can see is a beautiful range with a range low area over here where we have multiple pivots confirming the range low level, and we have a beautiful range high level over here where we also have these equal highs, and that is something that we have to remember for the remainder of the video because this is our main objective. What we can see is that after a deviation over here, which obviously wasn't a deviation of the range low since the range low didn't exist yet, but it was a deviation above this high over here and also above the high over here. After this deviation, the price went and was seeking liquidity over here beneath the range low. Then we confirmed the deviation over here beneath the range low, and yesterday already I told you guys that Bitcoin was extremely bullish. Now why so? Because after that reclaim of the range low, what we can see over here is that Bitcoin was creating my favorite continuation structure right over here on the chart. What we could see is that we had a slow grind to the upside over here, and that slow grind to the upside was being followed up by an aggressive flush to the downside. Now the aggressive flush, where did it end up? It ended up testing that pivotal range low level. Then I told you guys that once again, if you see a slow grind up like we have been seeing over here followed by a flush to the downside, what you want to see in order to see bullish continuation, aka my favorite continuation pattern structure, we need to break out above this high over here. Now as soon as Bitcoin was opening and closing candles above this significant high, and why was this significant high? Because this high over here brought us to a lower low over here compared to these lows over here that were bringing us to that higher high, and therefore it was a significant high to break. Now once we were opening and closing candles above that significant high, I knew that the bottom is in and that we should be continuing towards higher targets, and that higher target, as I said, are these equal highs right over here that align beautifully with that range high liquidity pool. Now you might be wondering, but Jip, how are we going to trade Bitcoin towards the range high? Because we have already seen quite a move. How are we going to get in? Where is our invalidation, and how are we going to make sure that we get a decent execution with a decent RR that will make us decent profits? Now in my opinion, there's multiple ways that we can look for executions, but the most aggressive way for that one, we are going to have to mark out the current daily low, aka the current daily P1, and the current daily high. What we can see is that the current daily low was formed during hour 0 on a Thursday, and that the current daily high was formed during hour 4 on the Thursday as well. Now how are we going to use this in our advantage? By looking at the daily timing statistics. What we can see is that we formed P1 during hour 0, which means that the P1 already has a 43.2% chance to hold for the remainder of the day. And when we look at the current P2 for the day, which was formed during hour 4 right over here, it only has a 0.5% chance to hold. The last time that we formed P2 during hour 4 was 209 days ago. And as you can see, yesterday, for example, we also formed P1 during hour 0. The last time that we didn't do it was 2 days ago, but then afterwards it was 6 and 8 days ago during hour 1 and hour 3. We know that Bitcoin really likes to form P1s during the first 4 hours of the day right over here. Now this is providing us with an extra edge for our current invalidation, aka the daily low. Also, when we have a look at the weekly distance statistics, we can see that with this metric right here down below, there's a 75% chance that Bitcoin is going to see a bigger move compared to the current move it has seen so far this week, aka there's a 75% chance that Bitcoin is going to get a bigger bullish move compared to the current move that we have seen so far this week. Which means that the aggressive way to play this trade is to use the current daily low as our invalidation and to expect Bitcoin to make new daily highs, but also to make new weekly highs. Now what that means, it means that we can start looking for executions upon the pullback within the intraday chart. Now this is a bit of a risky play, and I don't know if I'm willing to play it. Because I'm already positioned in 2 very nice long positions, so I don't think I will take the risk. But let's say you find some liquidity over here and you have your invalidation beneath the current daily low. That means that you can start looking for entries upon the sweep of these valid liquidity pools with your invalidation beneath today's daily low, and you can do the exact same for that second entry. Now that means that eventually the setup would look something like this, where your entries upon the sweep of that local liquidity, and then we are targeting that range high liquidity pool, and the RR for the first first entry is about 1.65 and the RR for the second entry is about 4.69. As I said guys, this is a very risky setup and personally I'm not going to play this. There's two more ways to play this setup on Bitcoin, but if you want to find out how to play those other two setups that probably have a higher win rate but might take a little longer to play out, you must join my free Discord server. You can find the link to our free Discord server in the link in the description down below. Now my plan for Solana is pretty clear. I am already long since yesterday, but I'm looking to add more to this long position soon with a brand new long. And as you guys can see, as always guys, I share these trades up front in the Discord that you can find down below in the description. Did you know that Cape Town has one of the oldest trading ports? Speaking of trading, make sure to like and subscribe to not miss out on any of my trading related updates. Okay Jip, enough with your stupid advertisement. Let's continue with the chart. What we can see is that Solana also has a beautiful range with a range high over here where we have several taps and pivots confirming the range high, and we have the range low level right over here on Solana. Now what we can see is that after a deviation above the range high, Solana went seeking liquidity once again beneath the range low liquidity pool over here. It deviated below, and then once again currently we have seen another deviation below. When we zoom in to the 15-minute chart, we can see that Solana made a beautiful liquidity sweep beneath the lows over here yesterday. Now why do I think this is such a beautiful and clean liquidity sweep? First off, we can see that Solana was creating several fake break of structures right over here towards the upside. And what are these fake break of structures doing? They're engineering liquidity beneath the low right over here. Now then we see an aggressive push to the downside, front running that liquidity low. Then we see another push to the upside over here. That local push to the upside once again gave us some local fake break of structures, and those fake break of structures were engineering liquidity beneath the low over here, making this a very strong liquidity pool to sweep. Now what I love even more about this liquidity sweep is that we swept the liquidity beneath the lows where the liquidity was truly resting, but that we were front running the low over here. And now this low is where most people that were looking for shorts up on this price section over here were looking to take profit on the short position, because we know that people are greedy creatures and they will always pick the lowest low to take profit on their short. Now by front running that low, those shorts are still in play, and where do those shorts have their stop loss resting? Above those highs right over here, which means that those highs are a major draw on liquidity. Now what we can see is that after the liquidity sweep, price broke out above the high over here and has been opening and closing multiple candles above, which means that the liquidity sweep low, aka the low over here, might be acting as a clean invalidation for long positions targeting at range high. Now if we know that that's a clean invalidation for potential longs, all that we have to do is figure out a decent area to enter, and we need to figure out our targets. Now as I told you guys, these relative equal highs are a major draw on liquidity on itself, and then obviously we have the range high liquidity pool right over here acting as a major target as well, which means that all we have to do is look for longs up on the pullback on Solana with our invalidation beneath this low, targeting new highs. Over here, this offers a beautiful RR of 2.45 towards the first target. It offers an RR of 1.55, which means that we might have to look for a tighter invalidation and more intraday long positions towards this first target to get a decent RR, which I will explain right now. And for this intraday trading idea, we once again have to mark out the current daily low, aka the daily low over here, the daily P1, and the current daily high, aka the daily P2. What we can see is that the current daily low was formed during hour 0 and that the current daily high was formed during hour 5. And what we can see is that the current daily low that was formed during hour 0 has a very high probability of already 45.5% chance to hold for the remainder of the day, and that the current daily P2 only has a 0.5% chance to hold for the remainder of the day. Also for Solana guys, we can see that very often the current daily low, aka the daily P1, gets formed during the first 4 hours of the day, and the daily P2 often gets formed during the last 5 hours of the day. And when we look at the daily distance statistics, things get even more interesting, because we can see that this metric over here, which shows the probability of the daily P1 to hold, shows that there's only a 6.1% chance to break the current daily P1, aka there's a 94% chance based on the daily distance that the current daily low is going to to hold for the remainder of the day. And this metric below, right over here, shows that there's a 61.8% chance that we are going to get a bigger bullish move compared to the current bullish move that we have seen so far today. Which means that the current daily P1, aka the current daily low, has a very high probability to hold, and that we can find a tighter invalidation compared to the first invalidation that we found right over here. Now what I also like about the current daily P1 is that it swept the liquidity beneath this low over here after engineering the liquidity by breaking above this high over here. So now we have found a new invalidation. Our target remains the same, aka the liquidity pool over here, and all that we have to do is look for longs up on the pullback, find a decent RR of around 1.8, and then we have ourselves a very clean trading setup on Solana over here with approximately an RR of 2.